Hello, my name is Dakota Brizendine, and today I will be looking at the 21st century literacy from a math point of view. When people think of literacy, all they think about is the reading and writing aspects of things. But nowadays, it's much more than that. Literacy today is about understanding, communicating, comprehending, and interpreting what is going on in a certain reading or in just a certain area of school. In the rest of this video, I will be talking about how these things are used and are related to math. The first part of literacy I will be talking about is understanding. When it comes to math, a person has so much to understand. They have to understand the vocabulary words, they have to understand what the different formulas are and know what they're meaning and when to use them. They have to understand what questions are being asked. This can be with a word problem, or it can just be when you have numbers put together with symbols, what do they mean? A person has to understand and be able to read graphs. They have to know what's the x, what's the y, and what they mean in relationship to what the question is asking. It's all about just understanding the problem and know what is going on with the math itself. An example in math would be a word problem. And a word problem, you have so many different parts to understand. You have to understand what's the question, what is the actual sentence saying, what information is given to you. It's understanding all these different aspects. Also, when it comes to formulas, you have to understand when to use them. You have to understand what different parts go in, so what goes where when you're creating the formula. And also, with it is the graphs. You have to understand what the x is, what the y is, like I said before, and you just got to understand the different parts of it. This is how understanding is a big part when it comes to math. The second part of literacy that I'll be talking about is communicating. When it comes to math, communication is so important. Communication in math is all about talking to each other to help each other solve the problem. You can communicate with both teachers and students. When you communicate, you might give another student an idea, or you might be able to get a better answer from another student. When it comes to math, communication is key just because it can help you get to the right answer and know how to solve or where you messed up. An example in math, if you are solving a word problem and you get stumped, you can ask the teacher or you can ask a classmate. This is the same way with any number problem, or like if there's a graph and you don't understand, you have to communicate so you know where you messed up. Uh, Communication is just very important from a standpoint of math, and this is what the communication part of literacy means when it comes to math. The third part of literacy that I'll be talking about is comprehending. Comprehending math is being able to look at a problem and to be able to talk about what is going on. This is kind of like understanding in math, because you're trying to look at a problem, look at the parts, and comprehend. Be like, what's going on? What do I know? What do I not know? It's just being able to read the problem and look at the different parts and look to what you need to find out, what you can use when you're solving it. A math example might be looking at a graph chart or just data and being able to comprehend what it's saying. So be able to see what is it trying to tell you, what information can you pick out from it. It could be also be looking at a word problem, because a word problem can also, you can comprehend what it's saying, look what you have and what you don't have, and it can help you get to the answer of the problem. This is what the comprehension part of literacy means when it comes to math. The fourth and final part of literacy that I'll be talking about is interpretation. When it comes to math, you have to be able to look at a problem and be able to take information away to solve the problem. This is being able to interpret what you see and be able to apply it when you are trying to come up with the solution. You will have to take the information you get from a map or a word problem and be able to think about it, process it, and interpret what it's saying so you can get an answer for what the question might be asking. And that's a great example, because like a map or a chart, you have to be able to read it, be able to like take it in and see what it's saying, and then use that to be able to answer a question correctly. You also have to interpret information with a word problem, like I said, because you have to be able to look at the different parts and figure out what it's asking and what it's saying so you can put it into a formula to solve it. This is what the interpretation part of literacy means when it comes to math. This is how the 4 parts of 21st literacy can be related to math. When it comes to each subject, the 4 parts are used differently, but some of them are used the same. No matter what subject you are in, you will always use the 4 parts in some way. As a teacher, it is important to know the parts so you can use them in the classroom. After this video, I hope you can see how the different parts of literacy are used in math.